Okay, so picture this. In the middle of the Indian desert, there's a city built on a perfect grid. It's almost 300 years old, but it's hiding this incredible secret. A secret that makes it, weirdly enough, brilliantly relevant to the challenges we're all facing today. This is the story of Jaipur, and its genius is hiding in plain sight.
And that's really the big question here, isn't it? How on earth did a city, founded long before we were worried about climate change, end up being a masterclass in sustainable design? Well, the answer, as you're about to see, is this fascinating mix of the cosmic and the surprisingly down-to-earth.
All right, first things first, you have to understand, Jaipur was no accident, not even close. It was the deliberate, thought-out creation of one man, a ruler whose vision went way beyond just, building another city.
So, to get the full picture, we've got to go back to the early 1700s. The old capital, a place called Amber, was this majestic hill fort, but it was starting to have two huge problems. It was running out of space, and it was running out of water. So in 1727, its ruler, Sawai Jai Singh II, makes this incredibly bold move. He decides he's going to build a brand new capital right down on the plains.
And look, this move, it was all about practicality. Amber was totally hemmed in by its geography. Jaipur, on the other hand, was designed with the future in mind. It was meant to be a hub for commerce, easier to manage, and most important of all, it had room to grow.
But, and this is where things get really interesting, Jai Singh wasn't just solving a logistical puzzle. For his time, he was unusually scientific, totally obsessed with things like astronomy and order. He didn't just want a new city, he wanted to build a city that was a living, breathing reflection of cosmic harmony itself.
And that vision, it led to something truly extraordinary. You see, the city's famous grid isn't just for making straight roads. It's a cosmic blueprint. It's a genuine attempt to map the very structure of the universe right onto the surface of the Earth.
The whole design was guided by this ancient tradition called Vastu Shastra. Now, the core idea here is that a city isn't just a pile of buildings, it's a living thing. And for it to really thrive, it has to be perfectly aligned with the sun, the wind, the cardinal directions, with the whole rhythm of the cosmos.
And that right there is the key. Think of Jaipur's grid not just as a street map, but as order mapped onto space. It's a kind of sacred geometry, a mandala, that's designed to put human life in perfect sync with the natural world. This was never just about efficiency. It was about achieving a deeper kind of harmony.
And what's just so brilliant is how that spiritual logic also had a totally practical function. So east, the direction of the sunrise, was all about new beginnings, so that's where you put the public buildings. North was connected to water, so that's where you'd find open spaces and water features. It's this beautiful system where belief and function just work hand in hand.
Okay, so let's recap. We have a city that's basically a map of the cosmos, a spiritual diagram. But what if all those ancient rules accidentally created something else entirely? What if this cosmic map is also a highly efficient machine?
Right. This is the big aha moment of this whole story. It turns out that those very same principles of Vastu Shastra, the ones designed to align the city with the heavens, also happen to be a brilliant blueprint for passive, climate-resilient engineering. The spiritual rules are also secretly rules of physics.
Take the streets, for instance. The Vastu tradition led to these lanes that are pretty narrow compared to how tall the buildings are. Now, the climate benefit of that in a desert city is huge. It creates what you could call shade corridors that keep the ground from just baking in the sun, which naturally cools the whole area down.
In this clever design, it doesn't stop at the streets. It goes right into the homes themselves. Traditional homes, called havelis, are always built around a central courtyard. This isn't just for looks. These courtyards basically act as thermal lungs. The hot air from the day rises and escapes out the open center, and that movement actually pulls cooler air into the living spaces down below. It's fantastic natural air conditioning.
And then you've got the walls. The ancient text said, build with thick, heavy masonry. Well, it turns out there's a modern scientific term for that, thermal mass. These super dense walls soak up the intense desert heat all day long, keeping the inside nice and cool. Then, at night, they slowly release that stored heat, warming the home when it gets chilly.
So when you put it all together, what you have in Jaipur is this absolutely remarkable fusion. It's a city where the spiritual quest to build a kind of heaven on earth, to align with the cosmos, accidentally created a masterpiece of climate science.
And if you need one single symbol of this whole worldview, look no further than Jantar Mantar.
It's not just a bunch of beautiful sculptures, it is a massive, working observatory filled with precise astronomical instruments. It's the physical proof that for Jaising II, measuring the heavens was absolutely essential to guide life properly on Earth.
So let's boil it down. What's the big idea behind Jaipur? It's really this incredible three-part harmony. You have a city aligned with the cosmos, that's the spiritual geometry. You have a city perfectly optimized for its hot climate, that's the physics. And you have a city brilliantly organized for people and trade, and that's just fantastic urban design.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty big and, I think, pretty crucial question for today. You know, in a world that's desperately looking for sustainable solutions, we tend to look to new technology and future innovations. But what if some of the best answers aren't in the future at all? What if they're hidden in the wisdom of the past? Could a 300-year-old city in the desert actually hold the key?